Welcome back to the show. Today I want to do something a little different, as you can see behind me, with this chalkboard. I want to try to share 8 items, 8 ideas, 8 concepts, and talk about the shoulders of others. And it's really about how important it is for you and I to understand the power of partnering with people that are smarter than us, people that have been there and done that. So I want to begin with a story called The Washerman and the Donkey. Once there was a washerman, a man who washes clothes for hire, the story says, who was raising 2 donkeys. One he called Donkey A and the other he called Donkey B. Donkey A felt he was more energetic and could do better than the other donkey. He always tried to get the washerman's attention by taking more of the load and walking as fast as he could in front of him. Donkey B, you see, was a normal donkey. He tried as hard as he could, but he couldn't carry as much as Donkey A or impress the washerman by walking in front of him. After a period of time, the washerman began to put pressure on Donkey B. But you see, Donkey B couldn't meet his expectations. Eventually, Donkey B started to get punished. One day, Donkey B was crying and asking Donkey A to help. He said, "Dear friend, it is only the 2 of us. Why do we compete against each other? If we work together, we could carry an equal load at a normal speed." So Donkey A became more competitive after that. The next day he boasted to that washerman that he could carry more and run faster than Donkey B, and he did. The washerman, as expected, became even angrier and demanded Donkey B to go even faster, punishing him more when he could not. Under the pressure, you see, Donkey B collapsed in great fatigue and quietly passed away. As a result of the collapse, Donkey A felt like he was on top of the world, having proved his superior skills and abilities. But now he has only to carry his own load, but also Donkey B's load too. You see, so for a short time, Donkey A was able to carry both loads, but he eventually became fatigued and weak. The washerman had no compassion on this once superior but now tired donkey. He yelled and demanded more, but as hard as this donkey tried, he couldn't come close to satisfying his demands. Finally, the day came when the washerman was tired of this fatigued and no good donkey. He killed him and went searching for some other donkeys. So what's the moral of the story, the writer shares? Is to recognize that regardless of how strong you think you are, you can't do it alone. It is important to work together. There's an ancient story about a man who had a father-in-law. And many married people have father-in-laws, but this father-in-law was pretty different. You see, this CEO of this organization felt that he had to do everything. The story says he was in charge of a large group of people. And he was getting overwhelmed. He felt like he had to do all the tasks himself. He felt like everything was laying on his shoulders. Then father-in-law spoke up and said, "You know what, why don't you start delegating some things to other people to lift your load so that you can do exactly what you are wired best to do for the benefit of other people." So that's exactly what the father-in-law recommended to this CEO. So the CEO listened to father-in-law. He then delegated some very important work to some very smart people. And then he was able to leverage his time better and maximize the opportunities that he had in his life for the benefit of the entire team. There's something very, very powerful about the power of we, W-E. You're going to find that more times than not that people think that they have to have all the answers, that they have to be the CEO of their organization and be the best at every single task. The older I get, I realize that there are people, the really smart people, who are in charge of whatever it is, a small group, a family, a neighborhood, an office, that they realize that they don't have to have all the answers. And might I suggest to you that you don't have to have all the answers, but you do need to surround yourself with people who are really smart in areas where you frankly don't need to be investing too much time in. Now that brings up a whole new avenue. That brings up a whole new sidebar, if you will. That the people that you want to surround yourself with, those people have to have characteristics that are based on trust. Trust is something that is so, so valuable. And it can very easily be washed away. And that is that when you surround yourself with people that you can trust, everything that they say and do has to be based on integrity. So do you just pick haphazardly people that you want to build yourself with, that you want to surround yourself with? I would say no. That's going to come with time. Michael Rogers shares a story called 35 Employees. He writes, a team of about 35 employees had come together for a team building event. They were a young, bright, and enthusiastic team. However, there was one big problem this team had, was they wouldn't share information or solutions with each other. The leader felt they were too focused on self and not enough on team. So she started off with a fun team activity that would allow her to teach the importance of each team member working together and sharing more. She brought the team into the cafeteria. All of the tables and chairs had been stacked and put away, and placed around the room were fun decorations and hundreds of different colored balloons. Everyone was excited, but not sure what it was all about. In the center of the room was a big box of balloons that had not been blown up yet. The team leader, you see, asked each person to pick a balloon, blow it up, and write their name on it. Again, to pick a balloon, blow it up, and write their name on it. But they were instructed to be careful because the balloon could pop. A few balloons did indeed pop, and those members of the team were given another chance, but were told that if the balloon popped again, they were out of the game. So you see, about 30 team members were able to get their name on a balloon without popping it. Those 30 were asked to leave their balloons and exit the room. They were told that if they had qualified, for the second round. 5 minutes later, the leader brought the team back into the room and announced that their next challenge was to find the balloon they had left behind with their name on it among the hundreds of other balloons scattered in the large cafeteria. She warned them, however, that this was going to be a little difficult because they should not pop any of the balloons. If they did, they would be disqualified. While being very careful, but also trying to go as quickly as they could, each team member looked for the balloon with their name. About 15 minutes passed, and not one single person was able to find their balloon. The team was told that the second round of the game was over and they were moving on to the third round. In the next round, the leader told the team members to find any balloon in the room with a name on it and give it to the person whose name was on it. You see, within a couple of minutes, every member of the team had their balloon with their own name on it. The team leader made the following point, quote, "We are much more efficient when we're willing to share with each other." Again, the team leader made this point. We are much more efficient when we're willing to share with each other, and we are better problem solvers when we're working together and not individually. There's another ancient story I want to kind of share a piece of it with you. And according to the story, there was a group of people that were challenged to do a certain task. But they were overwhelmed with other tasks that needed to be done. and they weren't really sure how to achieve the entire goal, meaning that they had so many things on the to-do list to do that they were being overwhelmed. So an idea came that they said, you know what, maybe, just maybe, that if we delegate some of the roles to other people that are better wired to do these roles, these tasks, that maybe we can focus on more high productive opportunities than we have in the past. Well, that seemed to have worked according to this story. I had a boss, his name was Johnny, Johnnnie, Johnny, back in the 1990s. And I was one of his managers in his office at the time. And he would, every now and again, encourage me to delegate a certain project that I really like doing. And it wasn't a major project. It was a personal project that I enjoyed doing. It took me only about an hour, hour and a half a week to do this project that was stress relieving for me at the time, that I really enjoyed doing. But for a long time, he would suggest to me, John, why don't you pay somebody to do this so that you can leverage your time to do more productive things, because your time is worth more than that task that you like doing that relieves stress. So I really balked at that. I was probably in my 30s at the time, and I'm like, you know, why? I didn't question. He was about 20 years older than me at the time, and I'm thinking, like, you know, I don't want to delegate this thing because I enjoy doing it. It took me a long time. I'm not going to tell you how many years it took me to get that through my head, but eventually I followed that advice and leveraged that project, that task, to other people so that I could focus on more productive things in my own life. I'm wondering if you're doing things consistently in your own life that are not bringing you a return on investment. Think about that a minute. What are you doing every day that is not bringing you a return on investment? There are some investments, years ago, I invested in certain tech stocks in the 90s. The tech stocks were going through the roof. I mean, the growth potential in those things were incredible. And then there came a day when the bottom fell out and I lost everything. Now, I'm not talking millions of dollars. It was a whole lot less than that. But the point is that I assumed things were going to grow forever. You see, groups that you're part of, that I'm part of, breed conformity. There's a wonderful story called the ASH experiment, ASCH experiment, back in 1951, where they brought in a group of people into a room, and part of maybe 2 or 3 of the people, of the 6 or 8 or 10 people in the room, were in on this experiment. So they would put up a document or an art project or something in front of them and have the group describe what was in front of them. Well, the people that were not in on the test described it this way, but the minority of people, the 2 or 3 others that were in on this little game, this little test, lied about what they saw. The longer story of this experiment is, over a very short amount of time, the people that were actually drawing and copying what was in front of them started to believe the people that were lying about what they were seeing, because they were louder, they were more, they shared more of what they thought it was, and their influence directed the other people who were actually correct. What I'm asking you to do in that little storyline there is to think about the people that you choose to hang around, and if they're distracting you in a way that is not very healthy in your own life. So what happens when there's confusion in people that you associate with that will literally change the way you see your future? Chuck Swindoll, who is a teacher and has been for a very long time, Chuck Swindoll wrote a letter that I want to kind of share with you that kind of illustrates a bit more what I'm talking about in this episode. In those stately geese, I find especially impressive. Winging their way to a warmer climate, they often cover thousands of miles before reaching their destination. Have you ever studied why they fly as they do? It's fascinating to read what has been discovered about their flight pattern as well as their in-flight habits. He writes, 4 things come to mind. Those in front rotate their leadership. Again, those in front rotate their leadership. When one lead goose gets tired, it changes places with one in the wing of the V formation and another flies point. By flying as they do, the members of the flock create an upward air current for one another. Each flap of the wings literally creates an uplift for the bird immediately following. One author states that by flying in a V formation, the whole flock gets 71% greater flying range than if each goose flew on its own. When one goose gets sick or wounded, 2 fall out of formation with it and follow it down to help it and protect it. They stay with the struggler until it's able to fly again. The geese in the rear of the formation are the ones who do all the honking. I suppose it's their way of announcing that they're following and that all is well. For sure, Chuck Swindoll writes, the repeated honks encourage those in front to stay at it. As I think about this, one lesson stands out above all the others. It is the natural instinct of geese to work together, whether it's rotating, flapping, helping, or simply honking. The flock is in it together, which enables them to accomplish what they set out to do. So if you want to extend that point a bit more, actually a lot more in your own life, have you ever realized that the people that you surround yourself with will either help you rise or drag you down? The older I get, and I've been mastering this understanding for a long time, is that I literally have to be very careful who I choose to allow in my circle, because there are some people who drain me. By the way, there are some people who drain you. There are some people who do not lift you up as you attempt to do great things. In fact, they try to pull you down. They try to bury you. They try to drown you with their negativity. These are people that you cannot afford to be around. What I suggest to you is that you surround yourself with people like the geese that lift you up, that understand that you're going to get tired and they're going to take the front. They're going to take that point guard, if you will, and lead you. Then when you gain your strength, then you can lead them, and vice versa, back and forth. These are the types of people who excel and do amazing things in their lives. So there's a connection, I believe, in power when people really understand that their goal is for one purpose. Let me share another story. The following story captured our heart, according to the person who wrote this story. It happened several years ago in the Paris Opera House. A famous singer had been contracted to sing, and ticket sales were booming. In fact, the night of the concert found the house packed and every ticket sold. The feeling of anticipation and excitement was in the air as the house manager took the stage and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your enthusiastic support. I'm afraid that due to illness, the man whom you've all come to hear will not be performing tonight. However, we have found a suitable substitute we hope will provide you with a comparable entertainment." The crowd groaned in disappointment and failed to hear the announcer's mention of the stand-in's name. The environment turned from excitement to frustration. The stand-in performer gave the performance everything he had. When he had finished, there was nothing but an uncomfortable silence. No one applauded. Suddenly, from the balcony, a little boy stood up and shouted, "Daddy, I think you're wonderful." The crowd broke into thunderous applause. The story ends with, we all need people in our lives who are willing to stand up once in a while, and say, "I think you're wonderful." I can't stress that to you enough. No, I'm not saying that you need to have people that flatter your ego and build you up and do all these things that, you know, aren't genuine and aren't real. I'm asking you to surround yourself with people intentionally, because it doesn't happen accidentally. People don't come to you. The geese don't join your team. You need to go find the geese. You need to go find the team members that you want, and to be able to build on the shoulders of other people that have been there and done that and that have achieved some extraordinary things in their lives. I'm not talking, maybe you can't go hang out with a millionaire or a billionaire, but you can read their books. You can watch their speeches on YouTube and take notes and learn. I mean, there's so many tools now that we have at our hands that can literally transform your life, but you have to place yourself, if you will, on their shoulders to learn from the mistakes they've made over a short time. If you really want to achieve some great things, then I would strongly recommend in your life that you read Seth Godin's book called Tribes. Seth Godin is a great author. In fact, sign up for his blog. He sends out a blog every single day. It's less than a quarter page long. It's really easy reading, and it'll give you like these aha moments that are like, why didn't I think of that? And I'm going to look at this today. I'm going to try this today. Seth Godin, S-E-T-H, Seth Godin, G-O-D-I-N, right down here at the bottom, Seth Godin. So he said, I'm going to share some quotes that he put in his book, Tribes. Again, get the book, Tribes, T-R-I-B-E-S. He said, quote, "A tribe is a group of people connected to one another, connected to a leader, and connected to an idea. For millions of years, human beings have been part of one tribe or another. A group only needs two things to be a tribe." Listen, a shared interest and a way to communicate. A shared interest and a way to communicate. He also says in the book, Tribes, "The secret of leadership is simple. Do what you believe in, paint a picture of the future, and go there. People will follow." I'm asking you today, multiple times in multiple ways, to sit on the shoulders of other people who are smarter than you, who are stronger than you, who have been through far more than you have been through in your life, for the purposes of not only giving to them, but also for them to give to you. Because really, if you want to achieve anything great in your life, you can't do it by yourself. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how many degrees or designations you have. You can't get to the top by yourself. It's not possible. Seth Godin goes on to say in his book, Tribes, "Leadership is the art of giving people a platform for spreading ideas that work." He says leaders lead when they take positions, when they connect with their tribes, and when they help the tribe connect to itself. I'm going to hang there at that quote for just a minute. Leaders lead when they take positions, when they connect with their tribes, and when they help the tribe connect to itself. If you think of yourself as a leader in your tribe, and if you take Seth Godin's advice and connect other people in your tribe, you're going to realize that the opportunities and the synergy in your tribes are going to dramatically change the lives of other people in the tribes, because you can't build what you're trying to build by yourself. No human being that I'm aware of can build a house correctly alone. You need certain people with certain skill sets to help build the house, whether it's an electrician or a mason or a roofer or a plumber or any other number of skilled craftsmen that can do their job correctly. You need those types of people in your life too in order to achieve some extraordinary things. So I end with this last quote that I think is very important to share out of Seth Godin's book. He said, "Remarkable visions and genuine insights are always met with resistance. And when you start to make progress, your efforts are met with even more resistance. Products and services and career paths and whatever it is, the forces for mediocrity will align to stop you." Again, the forces for mediocrity will align to stop you. "Forgiving no errors and never backing down until it's over. If it were any other way, it would be easy. And if it were the other way, everybody would be doing it and your work would ultimately be devalued. He writes, the yin and the yang are clear. Listen. Without people pushing against your quest to do something worth talking about, it's unlikely to be worth the journey. So you need to persist. You cannot achieve anything extraordinary in your life without sitting on the shoulders of other people who've been there and done that. I hope some of these stories here that we've shared will remind you that you don't have to get to the top by yourself. You can't get to the top by yourself. Build your tribe from today forward, and your life will change in a dramatic way. I promise you that. My name is John Carver. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back real soon.